Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. And of course, I'm here with my tag team partner, the Salt Shakers, the dominating tag team here at Women's Wrestling Talk. Of course, we have an Impact post show every Thursday night, and we have nothing but the best guest in the world. A triple crown Impact Wrestling, and in my opinion, the heart of soul of Impact Wrestling, Eddie Edwards. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. Now I have to live up
Yeah.
to that. Jeez, you build me up so much. I better deliver. And thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm fangirling a little bit. I'm a big fan. Love your work, and I've been following you. So we have to get into it. Now, when we saw Honor No More at the beginning, Lish really wasn't feeling it. So how did she come around and really realize that you really kind of needed her? And what's been her inspiration towards the growth of what you have going on now?
I mean, look at this face. How is she going to say no? I wore her down eventually. That's how our marriage works. I wore her down. No, but, going into I don't know more, of course, it was such a sudden change. I feel that she was, as shocked as some of the fans and the locker room was at the time. So I get that. But over time, I think she saw and she felt, that I needed her support and I needed her help. And in the end, I'm doing it for her, for our family. That's what my focus is, and that's what it's always been. Whether I showed it or not, that's always been my focus. So I think it just took some time. Unfortunately, I don't know more. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. But in the end, she saw what I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish, and how I had been wronged time and time again by Impact Wrestling here and there. So I think in the end, she saw what I was saying, and she jumped on board. I'm forever grateful that she is by my side because, she says and I say it, she is my true ride or die, and that's how we are inside and outside the ring, whether we're at work at Impact Wrestling or we're at home. It doesn't matter. That's our life, and it's really changed everything for me. It changed how comfortable we are out there because we get to do it together. You know what I mean? It really switches things up, and it's been a lot of fun, especially to know that she's on my side because she can be a bit scary when you're against her. I've been on the wrong side of it a couple times, and I'm trying to never do it again. But now my enemies get to deal with it, which is great.
Definitely. And I mean, nobody. I don't think any man would want to be on the side of their wives because we know how that could be.
You know it, and with Alicia, I've seen her go at she doesn't care what gender you are, she will come at you, and I've seen it time and time again.
So speaking of course, I don't know more. Talk about your feud with PCO. Now PCO is one of my faves, okay? And you guys have had like, Eddie, you kind of rubbed me a little bit wrong way sometimes when you was coming at PCO. And I was like, hold on now, that's my granddaddy to me. But even with like talk about like of course the feud with PCO and how I don't know more like reshape your career moving forward as considered to be the bad guy of Impact.
Yeah, with me, I've been at Impact. I'm at this point, it's going on almost a decade. We're almost at a decade now, and I was that good guy for so long. I was, I eat, sleep, and breathe and bleed. Impact Wrestling. But at some point, I needed to change things up. I needed to do something different, and that's what Honor No More was. And it's just wild the way timing worked out, where you know Ring of Honor had just shut its doors. So there's Matt Taven and Bennett and Maria and Vinny and PCO and Kenny King who don't have a home at that time. Just as I needed to find my new home within Impact Wrestling. It just so happened that, in a perfect world, we all came together and it gave me that new life. It gave me something new to achieve, not something new to accomplish. I'd never, been a part of a group, let alone the quote unquote leader of the group. So it was something new for me, and it really got those creative juices flowing. It gave us, we were all on the same page. It was a really unique thing to see where everybody that's a part of Honor No More, we all had that same goal. And we knew at different times, it would be, all right, it's PCO's time to shine. It's Bennett, it's Tave, it's the tag team, it's Kenny King's turn. And depending on what day it was, that was our goal. we would do everything we could to help accomplish that goal of the day. And so I think that's what made us work as a faction, collectively. In the end, with PCO, perhaps he didn't hold up his end of the bargain, time and time and time and time again. Um, but honestly, feuding with PCO, it I don't know. It gives me hope. You know what I mean? I'm not a young man anymore. I'll be getting up there. I'm not PCO's age, but to see him doing the things that he's doing consistently, every taping, every match, he's going out there and he's leaving it all in the ring. He's leaving it all inside the ring, outside the ring, on the ramp. He's going out there for what he loves and the style that he loves and what he does. And it's amazing to see the connection between the fans as well as the people in the locker room. We're all watching in awe every time he goes out there. And it's amazing to see. And, being able to work with him, I thought we did some really cool stuff, some really creative stuff. Again, with Honor No More, it was that step outside of that comfort zone, which is what we did. Me and PCO, we fought in the desert. We did it a couple of times. My wife hits him with the car. We did this cool, cinematic type stuff, but then we also got to do it in the ring, the best that we can. And I feel that as far as a complete, feud angle rivalry, I feel like we did a very good job of achieving what we wanted to achieve, even though I got, shot in a casket in the end, but it happens.
Listen, it happens. And facing someone like PCO is very tough. Now, you've had a plethora of opponents in your career. Outside of PCO, who would you say is the toughest that comes to mind?
Oh, man. The toughest, Sammy Callahan, for all the problems that we've had, even though we've been on the same page at different times, he is a tough son of a bitch. I can say that. He's crazy. I don't know if nobody else is the level of crazy that PCO is, but there's different levels. Sammy Callahan is a crazy one. He's a tough boy out there.
Absolutely, I love Sammy. I love his entrance, his aura. He grew on me a lot, honestly. But of course, this is women's wrestling talk, and Impact has definitely one of the best women's division in wrestling. There's no denying that. So, who would you say is like the toughest knockout today?
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna say my wife first and foremost. That goes without question. But I feel like she's not included in these questions because, of course, she's my answer
Can't be biased to that.
every time. But honestly, if I am talking about my wife with how tough she is, it's not just about inside the ring; it's outside the ring. I know how tough she is and how strong she is mentally and everything that she does, everything that she's been through in her life. Like, I've seen it firsthand, and I know that there's nothing that will stop her. There was a time where she wasn't a part of Impact, and she wanted to be, and she worked her ass off, and she wouldn't take no for an answer, and then she became a part of it. And then she wanted to do, some stuff behind the scenes, and she didn't take no for an answer, and she's doing it. You know what I mean? Now she wanted to be on TV with me. We wouldn't take no, and we're doing it. And I think I can, for me, I really learn a lot from watching her and how hard she works and how much she puts into it and how much, emotion and pride she puts into it. It's really cool to see. So she is my answer first and foremost.
I appreciate that a lot because I've enjoyed finally seeing her come around. With that being said, with this new bad guy gimmick, with Lish helping you, having this connection with your wife, as a fan, I need to know, how does Eddie get back to the gold? And I'm talking about the Impact World Championship.
Well, I think this is the starting point. You know what I mean? Me and Lish right now, I feel like we're starting fresh. We're gonna deal with Frankie Kazarian, and we're gonna kind of go from there. I feel like this is gonna set the tone. You know what I mean? I feel, we get through Frankie, and we can kind of move anywhere on the roster. And at any point, we can point our direction. We can point our scopes towards that world title. And I think that, again, that's what will make us work in the end, where we can go after anybody. We can work with anybody. That's fine. But in the end, the goal is always and forever will be to get back to that world title for the third time. That is my goal. And in time, it will happen. What's the time frame? I don't know, but I know that's our end goal as always.
Of course, most definitely. So, of course, we're fans of Impact Wrestling, been watching for like probably all of our life, sort of, in a sense, and everything. We've been through various different decades. And I think that it's in the sense that Impact does not get a lot of appreciation as they should, because you guys go out there every week and you put on banger matches, amazing storylines. Everybody is like family in Impact. From what I see going to the live shows, Nikki can attest to this as well. But for those who don't watch Impact or wanting to getting back into Impact, talk about why is Impact like so important to the world of professional wrestling, and why should everyone tune in every week?
Yeah, for me, my thought is people are just cheating themselves if you're not giving Impact a chance. Of course, there were some rough times in the past, however long, in TNA, and people may have got a bad taste in their mouth, but it doesn't make sense to me to punish us for the sins of the past. If you tune in and you watch Impact, I tell this to everybody, any interview, any fan anybody who I talk to about Impact, if you tune in, you'll find something that you love. There's everything, something for everybody. You know, there's there's the knockouts tags, there's hardcore matches, there's lucha, there's the X division, there's the world title, there's cinematic, there's vignettes. There's something for everybody at Impact Wrestling. And if you watch one of our pay-per-views, I challenge anybody to tell us that our pay-per-views are not the best thing going right now. I challenge somebody to do that. We put out the best product, top to start to finish, on pay-per-view, and it's something that I'm really proud of. And I just say to people, just give us a chance. Just give us a chance. That's all Impact needs, because as soon as you give us a chance, you will be hooked. It's easy to, talk down or talk smack about different places for some reason. I never get that. In the world of professional wrestling, we're all here together. What is the point of saying, I only watch this, I will only do this, I will only do that? You are just cheating yourself. So just tune into Impact and you will find something for you, something that you love and you want to tune in week after week.
Please listen to him, because against all odds, honestly, top tier, one of the best pay-per-views this year. Even though I was upset with some of the results, the combat and the way everyone hits the pavement, I really enjoy it. Now with Impact Wrestling, if you want to catch a show, of course, there's Summer Sizzle coming up June 23rd and 24th in Atlanta. There's also Windsor, Ontario. There's Slammiversary coming up. There's some Chicago shows coming up. With that being said, Eddie, why are you the one to watch in 2023?
It's simple. Me and my wife, we're living our best life right now. You're gonna see we're in that zone. Sometimes, people talk about being in that zone, whether it's for sports or anything else. We are in that zone right now. I feel like we can do no wrong out there, and that's kind of how we're feeling going forward. And we're just gonna continue to move up that ladder until, as I said, we get back to that world title. But we're gonna be doing whatever we're going to do along the way. And that doesn't, it may be, people may like it, people may not. And that's fine with us, because in the end, we're doing it together. We are ride or die. And in the end, we will get that world title. So tune in and don't miss it.
That's awesome. Well, on behalf of the Salt Shakers here and Women's Wrestling Talk, we want to thank Eddie Edwards so much for tuning in with us. And lastly, Eddie, before you get out of here, where can everyone follow you on all the social medias?
For me, it's nice and easy. I'm only on Twitter at the Eddie Edwards. You can find me there and only there. So that keeps it nice and easy. And, tune in to Impact week after week. We got everything. Like you said, we got Impact Plus. We're on the Zone. Wherever you can watch us, and you will not be disappointed.
That is right. And of course, after you watch Impact on XX TV on Thursdays, come and join us, the Salt Shakers, for the #1 Impact Wrestling post show in the world on Women's Wrestling Talk. Of course, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. You can Google Santana and you can find me on Twitter, but we are always here on Women's Wrestling Talk. Thank you again, Eddie, and we will catch you soon.